The Lakers suck, and here's why. In today's video, we go over the Los Angeles Lakers' biggest problems. But before we start, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The Los Angeles Lakers are seemingly picking up where they left off last season. At the recording of this video, they've started the season 0-3, losing to the Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Clippers, and Portland Trail Blazers. To get a better understanding, we first have to take a deep dive into the Lakers' biggest problems. And their absolute biggest problem is three-point shooting. In the season opener for the Lakers, they shot 10 for 40 from the three-point line, which is a horrific 25%. They were awful from deep, and honestly, it was a complete mess on the offensive end. Let's start with LeBron's shooting on that unforgettable night. The Kings started the game 0 for 6 from 3 before turning it around slightly and ending the game 3 for 10, which is 30%. He simply attempts too many threes, and that's not good given the fact that he's a career 34% shooter from deep. Anthony Davis, who really had a very good game overall, shot 0 for 3 from deep. There's this notion out there that AD was once a good three-point shooter, but that couldn't be further from the truth. He's only been over 33% from 3 once in his career, and that was back in 2017 with the New Orleans Pelicans. Here's his three-point shooting percentages during his time in LA. He shot 33% from 3 in his first year with the Lakers in 2019, shot 26% in 2020, and shot a terrible 18% last season. He's obviously much more dominant in the post, but because he's extremely injury-prone, he tries to avoid contact as much as possible. Don't get us wrong, Anthony Davis can make an open three-pointer every once in a while, but it shouldn't be the main focus of his game. There isn't one defender in the league who could stop an aggressive AD in the post, so whenever he launches up a three, he sort of lets the defense off the hook. And the same thing goes for LeBron. Even this season, we've seen him consistently muscle through multiple defenders in the paint and look unstoppable when he puts his head down and drives to the basket. So when he launches up 30-footers 8 to 10 times a game, the defenses are relieved. Just think about how much damage AD and LeBron could do if they just attack the paint over and over again all game long. And yeah, we know that's probably not a good idea given both of their injury histories, but we're pretty sure it'd work much better than what they're doing currently. Let's shift our focus on to Russell Westbrook, who shot 1 of 3 from deep in that Warriors loss. And while shooting 1 of 3 is solid, it's no secret Westbrook is one of the worst shooters in the NBA. Just like last season, the Warriors dared him to shoot threes and often left him wide open whenever he stood behind the three-point line. His only made 3 came when he was wide open and Curry and Andrew Wiggins, who were the closest to him, didn't even try to contest him. There lies the problem. The Lakers' big 3 are awful at shooting, with the exception of LeBron, who's transformed into a decent shooter over the years. The roster doesn't get much better from there when it comes to spacing the floor. Laker guard Lonnie Walker shot 0 for 3 from deep in that game. Realistically, he's always been a bad shooter. Lonnie is a career 34% shooter, so he definitely isn't the definition of a sniper. Patrick Beverley, who, believe it or not, is statistically the best shooter on the team, shot 1 for 5. Juan Toscano Anderson shot 0 for 3, and Austin Reeves shot 0 for 2. So yeah, when your big 3 has trouble shooting and your bench is even worse, that's usually a recipe for disaster, especially when Beverley is your best three-point shooting option. Game 2 versus the Clippers, things got much worse in terms of shooting the basketball. We know. How in the world does it get worse than that game? Well, LeBron shot 2 for 8 from 3, while Westbrook shot 0 for 6. They were all bad misses, and more importantly, they were all wide open shots. Westbrook was such a non-factor from deep that the Clippers tasked their 7-foot center to guard him, and of course, sagged off of Russell and dared him to shoot. Around that time, the players who were on the floor for the Lakers were LeBron, Walker, Davis, Beverley, and Russ, which meant there was not one three-point shooting threat on the court, and this allowed the Clippers to clamp down to the paint and just watch the Lakers launch up bricks. Patrick Beverley shot 1 for 6 from 3, and his backcourt partner, Lonnie Walker, shot 2 for 9. Kendrick Nunn, who had a good shooting game versus the Warriors, shot 0 for 4. AD did shoot 2 for 4 from deep, but the big 3 only shot 4 for 18 as a whole, a measly 22%. And the Lakers as a team ended the game shooting 9 of 45 from 3. See? We told you it could get worse. Big problem number 2, scoring the ball. Other than LeBron James and AD, the Lakers don't have any other dependable scorers. And when you're solely depending on a 37-year-old and an injury-prone Davis to carry you offensively, you can't be surprised by the results. Just look at how many scorers and shot creators the Clippers have. Kawhi, Paul George, John Wall, Reggie Jackson, and even Norman Powell and Terrence Mann. And for the Warriors, they have Curry, Wiggins, Jordan Poole, and Klay Thompson. When Anthony Davis went down after that injury, the Lakers sort of went into panic mode and relied heavily on Westbrook and Lonnie Walker to carry the load. Given they basically play the same way offensively, that isn't exactly a good idea. But luckily, Walker scored 26 points on 9 of 21 shooting from the field and 6 of 6 from the free throw line. We can all agree we don't expect him to score like that every single game. Walker has never averaged more than 12 points per game so far in his short career, and others like Austin Rivers, JTA, Damian Jones, and Patrick Beverley are far from dependable shot creators and scorers. The Lakers can only hope that Kendrick Nunn finds his rhythm and becomes the third option on this offense. He has the potential, he's a good shooter, and the third best shot creator on the team behind LeBron and Davis. In the season opener, he scored 13 points in 23 minutes on 5 of 9 shooting from the field, but he was still a minus 19 on the court because of his poor defense and 3 turnovers. He also plays pretty well off the ball, especially with LeBron James being the primary playmaker. Nunn knows how to get into James's vision to make himself available. Another problem for the Lakers is probably the least noticeable one, but Thomas Bryant and Dennis Schroeder are both injured with thumb injuries, and while they aren't exactly game changers, we think their absence has a significant negative effect on the team, and they are definitely needed. Dennis averaged 13 points and 4 assists while shooting 34% from 3 and 85% from the free throw line. He's another below average shooter, but he's a pretty good facilitator that has lots of experience playing with James and AD. As for Thomas Bryant, he would help on both ends of the court, and the Lakers really need his rebounding after all the shots they miss. Bryant would provide many second chance opportunities, and not only that, but he's very good at going back up with the ball after missed shots. He's a decent shooter as well, and while we're not saying he should shoot 5 a game, we're just pointing out that he has the ability if he's open. On the defensive end, he could use that massive 7'5" wingspan to be disruptive, similar to how he did against the Timberwolves in the preseason. The Lakers just simply need as many playable players on their roster as possible, because one thing the best teams in the league have in common is depth. The Clippers, Warriors, Celtics, and Suns are all loaded with talent from top to bottom. Now that we've mentioned the Lakers' poor shooting and lack of scorers, let's talk about the one thing they do decently. That's playing defense. No, they aren't the greatest defensive team, but this season's roster has the ability to make multiple defensive stops, unlike last season. They held the Warriors to 103 points, and before Curry and Wiggins started raining big threes in the fourth quarter, the game was still well within reach, which was mainly due to their defense. Davis, Beverley, and JTA are all important pieces at the defensive end, and they showed that in the first 2 games. In Game 1, AD started off the game making big stop after big stop, and even ended the game with 4 steals. In the Clippers game, JTA guarded Paul George on a few possessions, and he looked elite. All in all, the Los Angeles Lakers look a little bit better than last season, at least on the defensive end. On the offensive end, it's obvious that they miss players like Malik Monk, Stanley Johnson, and Carmelo Anthony. They were the Lakers' best shooters, and now none of them are on the roster. So if they don't make changes soon, their season will be over before they know it. And we know it's still very early, and we don't want to overreact, but in today's NBA, there are too many teams at the top to wait around and hope something changes. What do you think? Will the Lakers turn it around, or will it be a repeat of last season? Let us know in the comments down below. Did you enjoy this video? If so, hit the like button and subscribe to NBA Swish for more amazing NBA content like this. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.